Hello and welcome to Exile. Today I want to talk about Soul Ripper, the flask that unlocks your ability to use a Vaal skill when you need it in boss fights, and all it requires is support from my favorite keystone, Trader. Now this character I had been using with Vaal Eye Shot, and Vaal Eye Shot, whenever I procced it, was roughly giving me 300% more damage, a massive multiplier in single target, but for the most part, I didn't really have it all the times when I wanted it. I could use it basically once on a boss every time I went through the map, or maybe twice in a map, like once on a tanky rare on a Crucible, and then once on a boss sort of thing. But as far as if I was going to go in and I was going to do Ubers, what would be my consistent uptime of Vaal Eye Shot? Well, it wouldn't really exist. And this flask, it solves that. Essentially on this character, I had a Bottled Faith, a Diamond Flask, and an Onslaught Flask. 3 flasks I didn't really need. They weren't really giving me something. I was already crit capped. They were flasks I stole from another character, and I thought, you know what? What would really be useful is if I could have Vaal Eye Shot up whenever I want it. So the way it simply works is, I have some empty flask slots. This gives me flash generation for Trader. If you're a Pathfinder or an Ascendant and you have flash generation through your Ascendancy, you don't necessarily need to do Trader, but in this example, I'm doing Trader just to get me flash generation, which is what you can do if you're a Ascendancy that doesn't have access to flash generation otherwise. And really all it is I'm in a boss fight, I'm fighting the boss fight, this thing charges in roughly about 20 seconds, which a lot of times the dialogue options, like if I'm waiting for Shaper to spawn in, the time it takes for his dialogue to complete is about how long it takes for this to fully generate, and I can start the fight with a Vaal Eye Shot, where I proc that with my Berserk, and I'm all of a sudden dealing a massive burst of single target exactly when I need it to, giving me leverage to try to phase the Uber or phase the boss or just kill the boss outright as quick as possible. And what will happen is I'll run around, I'll do whatever invulnerability phase shenanigans the boss might have. Like Shaper, for example, he has to go fight some ads, or he does his death ball phase. All of that is time on the clock that is ticking, that represents you're about to get this thing back full again, proc it again, and you'll be ready to Vaal Eye Shot him again once he gets out of his death ball phase or whatever it is. It's very, very useful if you have a single target Vaal skill, a Vaal skill that just absolutely massively bonus. It's a big massive bonus to your single target, and you really want it up in a boss fight. This gives you good uptime on that. Now I'm going to showcase doing this. I have a Uber Shaper prep to go, and this will kind of give you an example of what it looks like if I was going to run this fight. The example of how many additional times I get access to my Vaal skill because of this flask is quite high. So we'll come in here, we'll do the first guy right now. This guy is not going to be one where we're going to have Vaal Eye Shot ready to go, most likely. But by the end of this fight, we have a full flask, we impress it, and what I have on the enchant on this flask is 80% increased charge recovery rate and gain no charges during flask effect. That's okay because the charge recovery is almost doubling the flash generation, and when I have a flask that takes about 20 seconds to full charge, having the flash generation not occur for 6 seconds or whatever the duration of the flask is, it usually isn't too big of a deal considering the other portion of the flask it is double generating. So we come in here, if we have Vaal Eye Shot, we can go and proc our Vaal Eye Shot, and we kill this boss a lot faster because we had our Vaal Eye Shot ready. You saw that flask already charged, and by the time I get to the next boss fight, I am going to be prepared to pop the flask again. I have the Vaal Eye Shot, and I can use it again. And this is just a matter of, normally I wouldn't have been able to proc it on that one guy there, but I get to use it right away again, and I'll have a big boost to my single target. Normally that would take me 2-3 times as long, considering Vaal Eye Shot is giving me close to 4 times my damage overall when you factor in all the clones hitting. It's a big single target boost. And while I'm waiting for this guy to spawn in, you know, all the boss downtime, you have time that gives you your flash charges, and all of a sudden I didn't get to use it just on the first phase, I got to use it on the second phase, and he's going to spawn in. I'm going to press Berserk, I'm going to press Vaal Eye Shot, and I'm going to erase this boss. Even though normally my normal go-to DPS is much, much lower, I have very high uptime on the thing when I need it. And I already have Vaal Eye Shot again, and I used it before he even spawned in, but luckily Vaal Eye Shot lasts like 6 seconds, so it was enough time to kill him. And then I'm going to go over to Shaper, and by the time he does his dialogue, this flask will probably be fully charged up, ready to go, and I can press it to get my Vaal Eye Shot once again. Okay, it's not going to be quite ready. It's going to be really, really freaking close. Alright, got it right there. Try not to die to this phase. And you'll see, we almost one-phased them. If I had played it a little bit better with my timings and stuff, probably could have one-phased them, but it's okay. We'll wait. While he's doing this death ball phase, this flask is charging up once again, and we will not die to a Shaper Slam, because that would be unideal. Start attacking him again. We get our Vaal Eye Shot again, and I failed a flame dash. So I got stunned. Okay, that's a little embarrassing. You guys didn't see that. Okay, I guess this is a moment where I look at my character and I think, you know what? Maybe instead of the movement speed mod, maybe I should have took the don't get stunned if you haven't been hit recently, because that first stun wouldn't have stunned me and then I would have been fine. So realistically, I should have been a little bit less degenerate with my choice in mastery there and not gone for the speed, because if I just went for the stun thing, I would have flame dashed what I wanted to. But, you know, sometimes I'm a little bit of I kind of greed out, and 10% movement speed up most of the time just sounds nice, even though realistically the stun if you haven't been hit recently thing is actually probably arguably a stronger, more useful thing, considering when you die is usually when you get that initial stun on you and then you take 3 more shaper balls to the face, which is not something I should be dying to, but I died to regardless because I was being lazy about it. All right, so let's get to this boss. We're going to Vaal Eye Shot him, and the other thing is, the flask also holds charges for you. It holds an additional use. So even though I got kills and I got to use my Vaal skill right at the end there, this thing has charges ready for me. It's fully charged, and I can just pop it right away, and I'm sitting on a charge. And while I'm sitting on a charge, waiting for him to do his dialogue, I have another charge generating in the meantime. Okay, well, he's going to start out with that. I guess I'll start out with Berserk for the less damage taken. Vaal Eye Shot. Thought he was slamming, but I guess he wasn't. I could proc my Vaal Eye Shot, and he's already phased. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about, where it just gives you unadulterated access to your Vaal Eye Shot when you need it most, all the important phases of the boss. And we'll just go ahead and wrap up this Uber Shaper. But hopefully this gives you an idea of why this flask is so useful in terms of skills that just are crazy in terms of single target Vaal skills and in terms of good uptime. I can feel free to press this flask, use it to wipe this guy, and of course, before I even get into Shaper, I'm going to have the flask has been full charge, have the Vaal Eye Shot ready to go, and then by the time he's done with his dialogue, I'll be close to another flask. And this flask gains charges during soul gain prevention, so okay, he's gonna go into that phase. I'll probably Berserk here just to have the less damage taken. Alright. Go for single target now. And we finished him. So hopefully that gives you a good idea on the usefulness. And right there, before the fight was, if the fight kept going, I had another Vaal Eye Shot ready to go. I go from basically 10% or 15% uptime on Vaal Eye Shot to something like 70%, 80% uptime when it actually matters. And if you have a skill that heavily benefits like Vaal Eye Shot does, Soul Ripper, it's something I've started to try out more and more. And the more I've tried it out, the more I've thought, man, this thing is really, really quite good. Hopefully you can add this into your builds, and maybe there's some massive power gain you can get through it. As always, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Take care, Exiles, and peace out.